If you're going to build something from nothing, you've got to know what really works. I took a $1,000 loan and built a $5 billion business, and now I make smart investments in new businesses on Shark Tank. This is Barbara Corcoran, and you're listening to Business Unusual. This week on Business Unusual, I'm going to be answering all of the great questions you guys keep sending me in on business, life, how to move forward, how to jump over obstacles. Come on, I'm good at it, and I want to share my advice. But first, here's a message for all those millennials out there. People may be telling you, don't quit the job you don't like. Build up a resume. Wait a while. I want to tell you to quit right away, and here's how. I talk to young people all the time who constantly say, well, I hate my job, but I decided I was going to do this and I'm going to stick with it for the rudimentary 2 or 3 years, and it will probably lead to something else. I can tell you, you're crazy. The time to try on all different jobs is when you're young. When you're young, you don't have the kids, you don't have the mortgage, and you're free to change. If you're in a job for more than a year that you can't stand, you've got to move on. You've got to fire that boss and move on to something else. Try something new on. It's only by trying many different jobs on that you actually land on what your true calling is. 2 things you should bear in mind that will bolster up your courage. 1, there are more jobs right now than there are people to fill them. So you've got the numbers on your side. And 2nd, today, when bosses look at resume, there's no stigma to job hopping. The people who job hop tend to get the best experience and tend to move up in their capacity. Hey, I tried on 22 jobs before I found my great job, and I was only 23 by then. I never stayed with a job. I quit job after job after job, but guess what? I learned along the way what my skill set was and what I wasn't very good at. And then I finally was able to find a career for myself that really suited my personality. So if you're going to work tomorrow morning thinking, oh my God, another day at the job, you're crazy if you're young. Get the heck out of there. Make an appointment today to meet with your boss and tell him, I'm sorry, I'm going to be leaving. Give him enough notice, of course. But most importantly, cut yourself free. And you know what happens in life when you're young and you cut yourself free? Another job replaces it. You won't have any problem. The universe hears your cry and they send you something else to do. So don't waste another minute being miserable in your job. And now it's time to answer your questions on Business Unusual.
Hi, this is Allie from New York. I'm a recent graduate looking for my first job, and I don't have much on my resume yet. So my question is, what makes a great interviewee?
I'm the right person to ask on this, Allie, because I hire people all the time with not a lot on their resume. And here's what I look for. I look for wild-ass enthusiasm. Someone who comes into my office with a ton of energy, who looks like they would put their energy behind anything worthwhile, and I want them putting their energy behind me. I also look for likability. As I'm interviewing someone, I'm thinking, could I really hang out with this person for an hour and have a cold beer and be happy? If my answer is yes, they seem like nice people, I could chat with them. That's another reason I hire people. Also, I search for something in the interview that I really respect them for. It doesn't mean that they have to win some phenomenal award or something like that, but just something in their life that wins my respect. I'm thinking of some of the people I share my office with right now. One of my employees said he wanted to repay his parents back for his college tuition. That was his number 1 priority. I had to respect him. Another one of my employees had a tremendous physical injury all through high school and college that she had to deal with and bring herself back up again and again. She's over it. But hearing the story how she brought herself up again and again, she won my respect. Another young woman told me how she takes care of her elderly grandparents and participates in the family in that role all the time. That made me love this woman. So having a long resume of experience might seem important, but I can tell you, it's not important compared to the 3 most important things. 1, enthusiasm. 2, likability. And 3, giving me something I could respect you for.
Hi, this is Amy from Austin, Texas. Any shark can throw money at a business and make a difference, but only the best sharks can make it a success. So, Barbara, what's one thing you do to make sure your businesses are successful?
I've been on Shark Tank 10 years already, and I have no way of comparing my success with the other sharks because we all lie to each other about how amazing we each are. But I can tell you that I work with my entrepreneurs better than all the other sharks there and spend more time with them. Here are the things that I focus on with my new entrepreneurs. I sit down and ask them to tell me exactly what they've done that has proven most successful. And by most successful, I mean what has produced the most sales to date. And they happily tell me about where they've been successful, and I make a careful note. Then I ask them about what they've done that hasn't proven successful, and they reluctantly tell me about their failures. And that's where I come in as an experienced shark. I have them focus on their successes and get committed to doing much, much more of them. Simply focusing on the actions that create sales, because without sales in business, you can't grow a business. The other thing I do for my entrepreneurs that is essential for their success is I point out what their great strengths are, the natural abilities they have as business people, and I get them to acknowledge it along with me. When they see their own strengths through my eyes, because I have an experienced eye, they believe it. And they wrap their arms around their own strengths and forgive themselves for their weaknesses. And that's where I want their head to be. Exactly on their strengths and exactly what produces sales, because I know if I can get them to focus on that, I'm going to make a ton of money with these people. And that, for me, as a shark investor, is a real objective, seeing how far they can go and how big a business they could build, and I get to go along for the ride. And that's all the questions we have time for today. If you have a question, tweet it at Barbara Corcoran, and I may just answer it on a future episode. You've been listening to Business Unusual with me, Barbara Corcoran. Come back next week to hear more steps and missteps I took on the path to success on Business Unusual. Business Unusual is part of the iHeartRadio Podcast Network. Be sure to follow Business Unusual on iHeartRadio or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.